Well, thank God the Cowboys aren't playing tonight because I won't be breaking anything like I did last night when the Colts just completely sold out and never gave Jonathan Taylor the ball and ruined my my couple of parlays I had. I did learn a lesson though, AG. You told me don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't put the same guy in multiple parlays. I did not listen. And it burned me. I had a couple of I was like, if Jonathan Taylor just scores a touchdown, this is gonna be like so money. Like everything else hit except the Jonathan Taylor touchdown.
Yeah,
And
we needed that Jonathan Taylor parlay, but it was a great day. It was a great day.
mm.
Sunday football. We
It
went
was. It was an
six.
amazing day. Yeah.
We added 6 more units to our total. We're right around that 50 mark at 49.01 units since week 7 when we officially started tracking. So tonight we're gonna take that to the next level. It's a pretty
Let's
ugly
get some
game.
more.
We've got the Saints plus 3.5 going to Tampa to take on the Bucs. The over under set at 41 points. So obviously nobody's expecting too many points or anything like that. We aren't either. After the Saints just got shut out, the Bucs can't figure anything out. Hopefully they stick to the run game today. They completely went away from it against the Browns. It worked 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago against the Seahawks, and they completely got away from it. And that's how you attack this Saints defense. So I think they should go into that. Same on the Saints side. They should get back to the run. They had 0 players crack 20 yards last week against the 49ers rushing. So I just don't want to play this game too heavy because I don't know how it's going to go. The Bucs should run the ball more and get that going against the Saints defense, but is Todd Bowles going to do it? I don't know.
With Marshawn Lattimore out. Yeah. With Marshawn Lattimore out, it's possible that they try to go, I don't know, maybe feed Mike Evans, because he usually, at least he won't get in a fight this time.
There's been 3 games this season. There's been 3 games this season that Tom Brady has thrown less than 40 pass attempts. They're 3-0 in those games. All I'm saying is run the rock. That's what they should do. But as Chad points out plenty times, that's not always what happens. We always have
coaching cannot be assumed.
You always have to handicap for irrational coaching, right? And shout out to Cassius Cam real quick because he's in the chat.
We got you, Cassius.
We got here so late that we figured let's just go live, get it right out to the people in live time, so we don't have to wait for YouTube to upload and things like that. Let's get it live, and we got you, Cam, like Chad said. But there's not a lot to go off of today is my point. So this is going to be a shorter stream than usual. I don't have a ton of plays to throw at you guys. I got one official 1 unit straight play, and I got a same game parlay. So hopefully we cash out. We're not going to give our money back to the books that we made yesterday. That's you know what I mean? On a game like this.
Right.
Most of the time, our primetime games, even when they've been ugly, we've had good angles that we've found, and we've had success in some ugly matchups with like the Steelers and Colts, things like that. Like we've been making it work. But you see us on our Sunday show. If you tune into our Sunday show, you see me and Chad get to a certain game when we go through the entire slate where I'm just like, nope, we're not betting that one. Let's stop talking about it. There's nothing to talk about. If this was Sunday, this might have been one of those games where I'm like, let's get away. But we had to give you guys something. So I built a little same game parlay. Don't go too crazy on it. I'm throwing 1 unit on it. The worst case scenario is we're up 4.5 units on the week for week 13.
Worst All right. Case. So before we get into that, I need you to go check your BetMGM to see if you got the same thing. 23 minutes ago, I got a first touchdown scorer insurance handed to me.
I did too.
If you got that, so that's another one that we can
look at. I
already
got mine locked in.
We got free money ready to go. We just we make that play. If it hits, cash. If not, we get our money back and we get to try it on something else later on in the week.
Since you mentioned it, Chad, and since you mentioned about a minute ago about Marshawn Lattimore being out, maybe Mike Evans has a bigger game than he has been against the Saints in recent times. That is who I picked for my first touchdown. He was at plus 750 when I got it. I'm going to double check, make sure I'm getting you guys the right number. But yeah, like Chad said, it's risk-free. So if it doesn't hit, we'll use that $25 somewhere else. And, it is a loss if it's a loss, but you get a 2-for-1 opportunity. So I like to take those any chance I get. And we've cashed on a few of them so far this season. Let me just double check I had the right number for you guys, though, on that Mike Evans play. Plus 750 on BetMGM. So if you don't have BetMGM and you didn't get that deal, but you want a tail on a first touchdown play here for Mike Evans, it's plus 800 on FanDuel. So if you want to go that route, a little bit better value, but I'm taking the 50, the extra plus 50. I'm taking the L because it's a risk-free bet, 2-for-1
Mm-hmm.
option. So that's who I'm going with, Mike Evans. I don't know if you had someone else in mind, Chad, that you're going to take.
No,
or,
that was
do you
actually
like that?
as soon as I saw that that Marshawn Lattimore was out, I was like, "That's the way to play it." I'm going there. I'm doing my my first my first touchdown scorer insurance play on that one. I'm going to drop all $25 on it. You know how it is. But yeah, I just think if you look at Mike Evans and really like the last few weeks, I've seen it's been like he's like duffing routes. I don't know. I
That's the
may
other thing.
actually be
He's
talking
due.
myself out of it if he's like not going to be amped up and juiced up. But Lattimore really like shut him down. So I think the fact that he's got this opportunity to play now. Granted, they're playing at home, so it's not the same as having that raucous crowd in his ear all day when he's in the Superdome. But I think there's a chance he's going to have enough jawing from those Saints players where there's still some bad blood. There have been 3 fights that have broken out when he and Marshawn Lattimore are on the field, and all these Saints players have been there for all of them, so they know what's going on. So I think there's going to be an opportunity for him to come out, and I've seen him like jog through some deep routes here lately. I don't think that's going to be the case tonight, and I think he actually gets it done. So I'm hitting that one 750.
So it's funny you mentioned that because I was taking a look at the props and I'm like 60 yards. I mean, he's due. He's had like some really slow games the past couple weeks, and one of those games was the Seahawks where they went really run heavy. So I mean, I guess you give them a little bit of slack there because it was working, so they just stuck to it, which they should do. They should have did last week against that Browns defense.
Right.
I mean, come on, like. Austin Eckler put up like 80 rushing yards against that Browns defense a couple weeks ago. Why are you not running the ball when you got Rachaad White, who's proven to be a serviceable back there, and Leonard Fournette coming back healthy tonight? So we'll see how they run that 2-man tandem there. But yeah, I stayed away from Mike Evans because of that, because he's been coming up short on some routes. I don't know if the effort's really there. He's been banged up. So I don't know if it's the fact that he's just when the ball looks a little too far, he's like, I'm not wasting these steps because I'm banged up right now.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm hoping he feels a little better. I'm not taking him for the yards for that reason, but at the end of the day, it's Mike Evans. He's a possession receiver. You get down to the red zone, he has a chance to score the first touchdown or any touchdown at that point. But we're taking a chance, as always, on a first touchdown. It's just taking a chance. We're getting this risk-free. BetMGM knows what they're doing. You know what I mean? But
that's right.
You pick some good value plays, and you hit just a couple of those, as I say every week. You hit a couple of them. You end up profitable if you're doing this because they're giving you a 2-for-1 on it. You just got to make the right plays at some points. So hopefully tonight's one of those nights. But I'll get into one of my other plays while I'm at it with Rachaad White. I'm going to take him for his longest rushing attempt, and I'm going to take the over 12.5 here. Let me just make sure it's the same as it was when I was looking earlier. Yeah, over 12.5 minus 115 on BetMGM right now. Eating a little bit of juice, but I like this play here. The last 2 weeks, he's had a 29-yard, 5-yard. Obviously, last week was with no Fournette, so he was the guy. But I don't think Fournette coming back is going to take away from that. Now, the Bucs haven't been good all year in yards per carry. They're getting stuffed. We've been talking about how they've had like a historically bad run game for like a team that's still winning some games here. But he has shown that he can break through some of these holes and scurry out there, and he's a quick little back. And if he breaks for a first down, he's getting that extra 3 yards more times than not. So I'm taking him for 12.5. I like it. And the matchup works out well for them. The Saints, their weak point on defense is the run game. They're 19th in yards per carry allowed. So they're prone to give up some big plays. So I'm going to take Rachaad White here, minus 115. There's not a lot more on the board that's so attractive. I think the books have everything priced very well, except this one. But this is, a long rush attempt. Like he could go for 80 yards and it'd be all 7, 10-yard runs, and this doesn't hit. I get it. It's a risk I'm willing to take instead of taking him for his yards with Fournette, maybe getting a bulk of the carries. I don't know how that's going to go. I don't know if they're even going to give him a chance to run the ball so many times or Fournette either, because like we said, we don't know what they're doing on offense. They just want to air the ball out with Tom Brady. But then at the end of the game, when there's a chance to win, they don't trust Brady to not throw an interception. So they're not going to try to score, but they also don't want to run the ball because it's Brady. I don't know what they want to do, and I don't know what they're trying to do. So I'm not going to try to act like I do know and tell you guys to waste your money on some picks that when I have no idea what's going on with that offense. But this is one that I think can hit.
Yeah. So the one thing too about Rachaad White is that what he brings to the table that Fournette doesn't is he's got that ability to break a big play out of a play that looks like nothing. He's got that explosiveness. I think that's why they've started to feed him a little bit more. Even before Fournette got hurt,
Exactly.
he was still starting to cut into some of that workload because he's so much more explosive. He's so much more just sudden. And suddenness is a thing that Leonard Fournette is not. Now, Leonard Fournette is kind of similar to Derrick Henry. They're not built quite the same, but it's very much that same sort of mode where if they get downhill and they get to the second level, they can put one little swivel move on a safety or on a linebacker, but they're going to plow if a corner or a safety is coming up on them, and they're just going to run over them and take them for a ride for another 12 yards. Rachaad White is more that guy who, like, he could take a nice little off tackle play and find a crease, and he's through there and he's gone. So I think that's probably the best play to go with it because he doesn't need that volume. Similar to what we found with we did the same thing earlier this year with Tyler Algier, where same thing. He wasn't getting the volume, but all he needed, and he ended up having, I think he had 2 that broke that yardage mark. So, and one that was like just a yard shy of it. So the opportunities will be there to at least break a long play. And that's one of the Saints' Achilles heels too, is they're tackling, they struggle a lot, and it's just a recipe for this being, and I think it's a good play. I like what you said too about not trying to get too cute with this, where you try to do too many plays because there's too much unpredictability with how these teams are running their offenses.
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember it took to the fourth quarter to get the first touchdown of this game when they met up in week 2. It was 3-3 until the fourth quarter, and then the score ended up being 27-20 or something.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think Chad must have lost like 5 live under bets or something. What happened that game? I forget. You like sandwiched yourself perfectly, and then all of a sudden everyone started scoring. It wasn't even bad on your part. It was just like, what the heck's going on? They were good spots that you got in at.
Yeah, they weren't even. It was like anyway. I don't want to talk about it, but yeah,
but this game could go this way, that way too. So I don't want to go too crazy. Now, we do have a juicy same game parlay coming up because look, in a game like this, fuck it, let's take a risk. Let's throw a unit down. This is a nice parlay. I think it can hit if we get the right touchdown scores, and that's all we needed last night too. So we'll see what happens. Maybe the gambling gods will get us back. But first, let's talk about this, Chad, because we talk about it on this show all the time about these specials that these sports books give out and how, look, if they're giving out a special that 16,000 people are tailing and they're advertising that 16,000 people are tailing a parlay that's going to make you $300 on a $10 bet, shit hits. FanDuel's out some money, whoever it is, BetMGM, whatever, So, but they do have to have, but the serious part about this is they do have to have some hit or nobody's going to keep coming back. They got to get you on the primetime Monday night so that you take their NBA boosts and college basketball boosts all week. I mean, they got to reel you in, I guess. So some of these hit, we're not over here saying it's never going to hit. Obviously, some of them hit at a certain rate that this, the
one that you mentioned,
they got to keep people coming. So.
Yeah, the one that you mentioned that's 10 to win 300 is not what we're talking about here. The one that we saw today was a plus 125 parlay. But so it was not. It was a bunch of really low hanging fruit. At
this one isn't crazy. Exactly, they're not going to be.
They're not going to get washed
$1 million
out
or whatever. But here's the play, though.
Is.
So hold on, let me take this off so you guys see the full. Oh, I guess there's nothing there anyway. But it's the K Adams boost. Mike Evans, Chris Olave, and Chris Godwin to combine for 125 receiving yards and 1 touchdown, rushing or receiving, plus 125. Now I gotta say, man, I think this shit's hitting.
Yeah, I do too. So I jokingly texted
I think
AG.
it is.
I said they're going to combine for 197 yards and 0 TDs. Watch, and then I was like, or it's going to be 97 yards total, and they're going to have each a touchdown.
A touchdown, yeah, right.
So, but I'm with you though. I kind of think that this is one of those ones where they're not going to lose a lot of money. This is pretty easy. They can let a bunch of people get a little bit better than 50-50 odds. And throw them a bone, because like you said, because they do this all the time. Why do you think they give us the insurance on the first touchdown scorer?
Yeah,
because they know you're going to take it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to probably blow the free bet on something else if it doesn't hit anyway. That is going to be another like, well, it's a free bet, so let me put it on this plus 6,000 parlay, and then it doesn't.
See,
That
but
doesn't
with
hit
that,
either.
it's different. Like if I'm gonna throw down a $25 bet this weekend anyway, I'm taking the
Yeah,
2-for-1
exactly.
every single time. See,
Right.
me, I will bet that $25 regardless on something at some point in life. I know myself, so I know that you're giving me a good deal here. But when they get you on that stuff is the guy who's not normally gonna bet a $25 parlay or something like that anyway. Like that's what I'm doing anyway. So I'm like, oh, you're giving me a 2-for-1 chance on this? Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. We parlayed. We took a 2 weeks ago. I think it was. Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. We had the Thursday night same game parlay offer, risk free, $25 on FanDuel. That didn't hit. And that Sunday, we used that free $25 bet on a 3 touchdown scorer parlay on the Sunday slate, and we made like $250 on it.
That's right.
We're gonna parlay those extra chances on this channel. But yeah, no, that's how they get a lot of people. I have no problem with them getting me on that though, because that's what I'm doing anyway. Give me a 2-for-1. I'm taking that any day. Thank you.
I've used that $25 free bet twice. That was amazing this year. One was, so we bet the first touchdown with the insurance, $25 on Thursday night. I came back on Saturday and dropped that $25 free bet on Liberty to beat Arkansas straight up.
Shout
and
out to
made
the
like
dog catcher.
$250 off the dog catcher model. That's right. And Faith Thomas, yes, we're going to get into the college football stuff on a different show at a different time, but this one's just about tonight's Monday night game. The other time,
Chad, real quick, shout out your
Derrick Henry special.
Shout out the South End Zone, because that's what you guys are talking about.
So we got
anyway,
we got another channel. Tyler and I started another channel. It's called the South End Zone, where we just talk all college sports there. I'm an LSU fan. Obviously, you can see my purple and gold. I still rock it, even though we've taken it on the chin a couple of weeks in a row. And Tyler is a big Georgia fan, so it's very SEC biased. And that's the way it should be, because the SEC is the greatest conference in all of sports, especially football. So we're just going to leave that there. But yes, go check us out. It's the South End Zone. You can find it on YouTube.
What's the counts on teams in the playoff for the SEC?
So we only have one this time.
And what's the counts for some other conferences?
Oh, okay.
To mention maybe the Pac-12 or the Big Ten. Maybe that's the one.
The Big Ten has 2 for the first time ever.
Okay.
The SEC has had 2 like 3 times before.
Are we talking about right now? Or are we talking about last year? Faith, are you asking about the college football championship games from 3 years ago, or are you asking about this year?
Yeah.
Let me know.
So I'll put this. So there's an opportunity. There's an opportunity for Ohio State and Michigan to meet in the national championship.
Yeah.
And that'll be the first time that 2 teams from the same conference that isn't the SEC have ever done that. But it's happened 3 times where the national championship is 2 SEC teams. Do you know how many times it's happened that there have been 0 SEC teams in the national championship game?
3.
Once.
Oh, okay.
Once. It
I
was
know you
Oregon.
told me before, I just didn't remember.
It was Oregon, Ohio State.
All right, before we get too far off the rails here, let's bring it back to Monday night though. What you were making a point. I forget what.
So the other thing I used that $25 free bet for was the Derrick Henry massacre that happened against the Houston Texans. And so I threw a $25 free bet down on Derrick Henry to get 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he blew it out the water. It was amazing. It was very good.
That was like 10. That was like a good 10 of our that day. Derrick Henry was like a good 7 to 10 of our 49 units in the last 6 weeks. So.
Exactly.
That was great.
So I do want to touch on this. Cassius Cam brings up something interesting. I know you've looked at this a few times before. He's looking at the third quarter as the highest scoring quarter for this game at plus 490. Do you have anything? I know you've done that before. I'm not saying you have to have it this time.
So
I thought you might have some quarter breakdowns like you normally do.
I got the numbers pulled up here. So the Saints in the third quarter, they are 14th in scoring in the third quarter. The Bucs defense is 13th in the third quarter, and then the Bucs offense is actually 26th in the third quarter, and the Saints are 4th defensively in the third quarter. So I don't really like that, Cassius. But more power to you. I'm not going to talk about it. You know, it can definitely hit. But if I had to identify a better quarter, let me just try to think. Let me look through these numbers real quick. But
Yeah. So what AG is doing is he's going through his numbers where he's got this. Oh, he already bet it. He said too late. Oh shoot. Well,
No,
anybody
I'm
else
not
who's
saying
lost
it's
it?
bad. Like, it can hit. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I mean, that's one of those, the quarter things is always rant. Because look, what I'm
Cassius, you
basically
gotta
laying
wait.
out is
Let us
that there
talk it
might
through.
what I'm laying out is that there, it might they might not be a lot of points in the third quarter, but hey, there might not be any points in the other quarters. So that bet can still hit if there's 7 points in the third. So I'm not saying it's a bad bet. But I'm just going off these numbers. And that's just the trend. You know what I mean? That's like how the games have been going. We've seen the Eagles dominate second quarters the entire season, and then they had two bad second quarters in the past couple weeks. So look, it's possible. I was just going off the numbers. Honestly, with the
real quick on that. So since he's using the third quarter, he already bet it, and he was talking about possibly hedging. He's kind of kidding, but I'm just thinking, like, do they let you cash that out? So, like, let's say the first quarter is 3-0, and then the second quarter is like 7-3. So now it's a 7-6 game, but the second quarter outscored the first. So at that point, it is the leading quarter. Do you get to cash? Can you cash it out? Or do they just say, like,
I
no,
don't think I ever took a
locked.
highest scoring quarter.
Me, I
I've
haven't
only
either.
taken like a player's sides or I mean a team side or a team total for the first or
Yeah.
halftime and things like that.
Because it just
I don't
might
think
be
I've ever
worth cashing
taken.
it out at that point.
I don't think
if
I've
it's
ever
the
taken
highest
the
score.
quarters against each other. So that's
Yeah.
interesting. Never thought about it.
Oh, he says no, you can't
Cam
cash it
says,
out.
well, he doesn't have one now, but I mean, they might offer one live. I don't know. I never tried it. So, but
Yeah.
you want to get into this same game parlay? You got anything else for this
let's hit
game?
it.
I really got nothing else. All these numbers are priced pretty correctly, in my opinion. So I don't want to take a stab at it and get caught on some hooks and things like that.
All right, so I know you got
I got it
touchdowns
pulled
in
up
this
here
thing.
I got it pulled up here as you were as you can build it for us. See if maybe the viewers get some better odds than I did here. But yeah, I got Chris Olave for a touchdown. I'm taking that because the Bucs, they do not really allow a lot of rushing touchdowns. 70% of the touchdowns they allow come through the air. They're 27th in the league in having the most air touchdowns against them. And on the flip side, the Saints don't really allow a lot of passing touchdowns. So I'm going with Rachaad White. Hopefully he breaks one of those and cashes two things for us today. But yeah, they're fifth or seventh in that range of the top 8 at least in passing in not allowing passing touchdowns. So if the Bucs are going to be scoring, I mean, obviously we hope Mike Evans gets that first one because we took a chance on him. But what I'm getting at is they allow a lot of rushing touchdowns. So hopefully Rachaad White gets a carry from like the 15, or maybe he takes a screen pass in. I always love taking guys where they can get it multiple ways for the touchdown for us. The other plays, I got Chris Olave at 40 receiving yards. There's a couple injuries, Murphy Bunting and Winfield for the Bucs that are doubtful. Or actually, I think both might have been ruled out by now. Let me double check and look through here. But the Bucs have been good defensively against the pass, but Chris Olave is pretty much Andy Dalton's only downfield target. So I'm gonna rock with him to get at least 40 yards. You know, we're not asking for a whole lot. His prop number is around like 58, I think. I think it's priced pretty good, so I don't want to try to take a chance on that. I'm toning it down to 40. If these touchdowns hit, that's what's giving us the juice in this parlay, so we can afford to run these numbers down a little bit. Alvin Kamara, I look for the Saints to get back on track against this Bucs run defense. That's the place to attack them. For both teams, that's the place to attack it. So 40 yards. I mean, we know Alvin Kamara can do that. They just got to give him a chance to. Nobody ran well last week, but it is the 49ers defense, so we can give them a little bit of an excuse there. Chris Godwin for 40. The Saints, they have some good pass rushers. The Bucs are without one of the, or he might be a guard. I forget, but they're without one of their starting offensive linemen. The Bucs haven't been passing or pass blocking well for Brady all season, really. Brady gets the ball out quick, though, so he hasn't been getting sacked either. And we know he doesn't want to hit the dirt, 45 years old. You know, he's not trying to hit the dirt too much today. He gets the ball out quick, and when he gets the ball out quick, he goes to Chris Godwin every time. Chris Godwin had 13 targets last week, I think it was.
Yeah.
He can hit 40 yards, even though it's going to be nickel and dime, little quick game stuff. That's why I didn't want to go for his regular prop of 69. They got him set high because they know he's going to get targeted a lot. But I'll take him for 40. I'll take 6 catches for 45 yards, and we're good on that. You know what I mean? And then Tom Brady for 225. I toned it down. You know what I mean? They got his number set at 273. I would have took the under if I was playing that number. I think this Saints defense is good enough to stop them a little bit through the passing game. They're going to have to run the ball a little bit more than they have been. And hopefully that lets the Rachaad White single straight prop hit as well.
Yeah, what was the one that? So it's down a little bit from what you had there. You had it at plus 2504. It's down
Mhm.
to plus 2409, but it's still. I mean, that's
That's not bad at all, though.
$10. $10 will still win you 240. So it's
You're
good. But
you're
what was
risking a unit to win 24. You know,
right?
like
Right. Yeah,
I mean, I'm
I'll
taking
take
that.
it.
I mean, I'm taking a unit on this. If you want to take a half
Mhm.
unit on this because you're playing other things tonight, go for it. But I'm not playing anything else tonight. I just got this going. That first touchdown risk free on BetMGM, and then the Rashad Wright longest rush over 12.5 yards. So that's why I'm throwing a unit on this.
Mhm.
Obviously, I know that it has a lot. There's a lot more ways for this bet to not hit than there is for it to hit. I know
Right.
that. I'm
Right.
aware.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? But I'm like I said, if worst case scenario, we end this week up 4.5 units. We
Mhm.
end the last 6 weeks up 50 units. So, and that's if these don't hit. If this bet hits, if that same game parlay hits, we're up 75 units in the last 6 weeks. I'll take a chance on that tonight. Why not
Mhm.
in a game like this? We just need Chris Olave and Rashad White to be the ones to get the touchdowns here tonight.
Right. So
And
there
that
you
part can
have it.
go either way, and I'm fully aware of that. You want to plug someone else in for the touchdown, more power to
Mhm.
you. And I hope you win if I lose. You know, I hope somebody gets something out of this.
Right.
So, and if that's the case, send me the ticket, man. Follow me on Twitter right now. And definitely, I want to see all the green tickets, even if you switched out a touchdown score and you got the better end of the stick than me. So
Mhm.
I'm cool with that, man. As long as we're making money, that's what we're here to do, baby.
Yeah, and so just so I can kind of demonstrate to the people why we do it the way that we do it. So like these toned down yardage parlays, parts of the parlay. So if we just have Chris Olave and Rashad White in there, watch what happens when I, so we're at 10 to win 242 or 241, I mean. Um, so we start taking Brady out, it goes down a couple of bucks. Now it goes down like 40, $50. Now it goes down another, 50 bucks. Now it's down another $50. So you see, you're just like throwing another $50 on there for your $10 bet. If you just have Chris Olave and Rashad White anytime touchdown, you're at plus 776. I mean, that's nice. That's okay. But you're already putting a lot at risk to have those two guys both score. So why not give yourself some low-hanging fruit added to that to make this thing go from plus 77 or plus 776 to plus 240. Now you've
Yeah,
just tripled your profit. So
exactly.
I'm
And I
I'm
mean,
all
yeah,
about that.
granted, yes, there's going to be days where the touchdowns hit for you and you get 39 yards from one of these guys or
Right,
something. Like
right.
it's going to happen. I mean, but it's at that point, it's the same as missing out on one of the touchdowns. It's a
Mhm.
parlay, man. It's a same game parlay. We know we're taking a risk here.
Yeah.
That's why we only got one unit on it. If it was a guarantee, I would be throwing 10 at it.
Yeah, that's right.
but
That's right.
but like I said, the main point is we're not giving all the money back to the books on this shitty Monday night matchup.
Mhm.
I'm gonna hold on to my shekels here. I'm gonna put a little bit on the board and try to parlay that shit into 25 more of them. So that's
Yeah.
the plan.
Yeah, I mean, as it stands right now, you look at the standings, and this game should have some sort of implications, and I guess it still kind of does because
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Saints are still, they're in the hunt for the
Mathematically in it.
for the division. Well, no, I mean they're very much in it. Like
Yeah.
Tampa Bay's 5-6. Saints are 4-8. Saints win
Well,
this one.
yeah.
Now the Saints are 5-8 and they're 5-7, and then there's some jockeying late in the season. Weirder things have happened, but
But it's weird because at the same time, this isn't like a must win for the Bucks because like they can lose this
exactly,
game and
they could
still
lose
win
this
the
game and still
division
win the
easy.
division.
And like, yeah,
That's right.
it's like,
It's
yeah.
so wild. It's so wild. Like
But there should be some playoff implications, yes. However, that
Mhm,
division is
mhm.
so bad that I don't know if this game even matters or if that even matters.
Right.
Like in terms of like trying to handicap it based on that, like this isn't one of those games where that matters that much.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is these two teams have shown this uncanny ability to vacillate between being completely inept offensively and then like opening a can of whoop ass on somebody. And I'm just like, you know what? We're gonna take a couple of little, nitpicky things, and then we're gonna leave the rest of it alone, and we're gonna save our units because you dropped another, 6 or so, 7 on us yesterday. We don't need to, like you said, we don't need to give them all back.
I'll give a few back with
Yeah.
take a risk, have some
With
fun,
an
sweat
opportunity to
that
win
out.
24 more. Yeah. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. But like, at the end of the day, we're profitable on the week regardless because we're not playing this game too heavy. And that's the main point I want to make. Like people, you lose at sports betting when you start throwing at every game. Yeah, we're all going to be watching this game. So yeah, we got to throw something down. I feel you. I'm the same way, man. I'm like, I'm going to be watching this game anyway. I got to give myself something to root for. I don't give a rat's ass if the Saints or Bucs win unless I'm putting some bets down. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not entertaining. That's the point of time that I'm in right now. But at the same time, don't give it all back. Don't give all your profits back. Once you start chasing, that's when you start losing. So keep it easy, keep it simple and sweet. Obviously, if we don't get the right touchdowns and Rachaad White doesn't get that run, then we're over. We didn't make any money tonight. Oh well, we made money all weekend.
Still green on the weekend. That's right.
Yep.
That's right. Well, if you didn't get to watch all of this live, you can go back, rewind it. We're gonna head out of here. We're gonna let you enjoy the games. Happy betting, and I don't know. Go follow AG. Go follow me. Well, you don't have your Twitter thing, but you have it in the description.
It's in the description if you want to go ahead and follow Men of Order as well. Check out menoforder.com. Great content for you there. This is just the sports arm of the entire operation, but I mean, you guys really want to learn something. Go ahead over to menoforder.com. You'll get lost in those archives. I'm telling you. I do it all the time.
Shout out to our sponsors, Phil Foster Fitness, and then also, as always, Master Focus from Hotep Jesus.
Hell yeah.
There you go. He's got it. All right.
Take the red pill with us.
That's right. I already took mine today.
Take the red pill with us. Yeah. Oh shit!
You got to put it. You got to hold it up to the camera.
I know. I wasn't trying to drop them while
I got you.
And hit that subscribe button because we're up 50 units since week 7 when we started officially tracking. Man, I wish we started tracking. I wish we started tracking at the beginning of the season because man, that number would be a lot higher. But I'll take 50 units in 6 weeks. Basically, on average, we'd be at 110 right now if we started in the beginning of the season. So, maybe we'll be at 110 by the end of this season. These 25 here on this same game parlay would be a huge help. So, best of luck if you're tailing, and let's get this money.
Peace, y'all. See you.
Peace.